Hello everybody and welcome. If you click on this video, that means you probably have a problem with Minecraft's inventory, and I'm here to solve that with 65 inventory mods for Minecraft Java. As much as I hate wasting time doing a long intro, I have to clarify a few things. This mod list will be available for different versions of the game, some even going as far back as version 1.7. Some mods are client-sided, meaning you can install them on any server as long as they follow the rules. Some are server-sided, meaning they can't run on vanilla servers at all. Version and client-sided can be seen on the top right of your screen. A full list of all mods, including the links, are in the description. There's too many mods to include individual links, so all the links are compiled in the links below. Without further ado, let's get on with the mod list. The first mod is Inventory Sorter, and it's very simple. Just click your middle click button and it will sort your inventory for you. You can also use your scroll wheel to move items in and out from inventories. Following that, we have Inventory Profiles next, which has many different sort methods to sort your items. You can also quick stack to existing items in the chests, lock your slots, and replace broken tools. Inventory Essentials gives you more control over your inventory using keybinds. For instance, I can move items one at a time using just keybinds. Also, I can move similar type items at once using a keybind. Another feature is to shift and then drag your mouse over items without having to do them one at a time. Inventory Tweaks Renewed is the updated version of the old Inventory Tweaks for 1.12. This one is updated to 1.15 to 16. This mod simply just adds a sort button, and it can also refill blocks on your hand. EasierChests also sorts your inventory, but on this mod you can move entire rows or columns to and from inventories. It's just like a Rubik's Cube, really. Item Scroller is another way to move items around inventories using keybinds. Please note that there's way too many shortcuts for me to understand here, so here's the list. Other features also includes Villager GUIs, which allows you to control how the GUI works. And crafting grids functionalities. Mouse tweaks is very simple. It just gives you more control over your inventory using your mouse. Mouse Wheelie gives you more control over your inventory using your mouse. Some features include sorting your inventory by various sort methods. You can also browse the recipe grid by scrolling. Swap with your offhand using the respective key. You can also directly apply the crafting by right-clicking. The next few mods is probably my favorite way to manage your inventories, which is to swap entire rows or columns of your inventories. To give you an idea, tools are permanently taking up hotbar space, sometimes even worse. These mods aim to free up that space or reduce the chances of clutter. The first of that group is Inventory Hotswap. You can swap items in its column, or swap the entire rows of your inventory. HotbarCycle accomplishes the same thing, but this time it actually cycles the items instead of replacing the item in its slot. Shifty Hotbar also does the same thing. The only difference is the keybind, so choose whatever you want. If you want something more simple, you can use Hotbar Switcher. This mod simply switches items of the same column, but it's only limited to the bottom row of your inventory. But it doesn't swap rows of your inventory. Slot Cycle only handles the column of your inventory. But what's cool about this, it actually shows on your HUD on the right there. This is actually one of my favorite inventory mods. Now let's move on to the next group of mods. These mods aim to give you double hotbars if you don't prefer the slot switcher mods. Do note that these are still client-side, so they don't actually increase inventory space. I'll give you an idea what the use cases are in the first mod. The first mod is double hotbar. What this does is obviously give you a second hotbar. This hotbar just takes the third or bottom row of your inventory. All you have to do is press R and then boom, you can switch hotbars. This is useful for when the space is just not enough or you'd like to keep it clean with your tools and building materials. This actually, in my opinion, solves the problem of having tools permanently take hotbar space. If you're playing on an older version, there's dual hotbar, link in the description.
Here's a third version for 1.12, just to make sure we cover all grounds here.
Not enough hotbars? Here's Multi-Hotbar, where you can have up to 4 hotbars. The next mod is for when you're having trouble finding that one item you're looking for in a chest. Note that roughly enough items is required for this. Obviously, this mod allows you to search chests for that one item that you need. Searchable Chests does the same thing. This one is for Forge. Have you ever found yourself owning a large storage system and it's impossible to find that thing you want? Well, Chest Tracker looks for that item for you. Just press the keybind and it will open this GUI where you can select which item to find. An alternate version is Where Is It? This is kind of a lamer version of the previous mod, but it's at least made by the same author. Do you have lots of chests in your area and don't want to look around to click each and every one of them? Inventory tabs allows you to access nearby inventories without leaving the inventory GUI. If you're carrying lots of junk with you and want to dump them into your storage system right away, then Stack to Nearby Chests is your solution. It basically automatically takes items from your inventory into chests if the item exists in that chest. This works from reaching distance, so you don't have to open chests. As much as I love this mod and it's an awesome solution, it is not client-side, so the server has to install it. It also only works for one version, so if there's any mod developers out there, I highly recommend porting this mod to other versions. Elytra/Chestplate Swapper does exactly what you think. It swaps your Elytra with your chestplate with a press of a button. This works even if either pieces are anywhere in your inventory. Similarly, we have Auto Elytra. What this does is automatically swap to your Elytra if you're trying to fly. It swaps back to your chestplate when you land. We're now in the portion of the video where pretty much all of these mods are client-side only, so you can add these to your custom mod pack if you wish. The first group of mods is probably one of the requested changes to Minecraft's inventory, is the inventory size itself and bigger stack sizes. Infinitory is the first mod and it accomplished both of these things. As the name implies, it basically lets you have infinite inventory space. I like how Infinitory approaches this because instead of physically making the inventory screen bigger, it just adds a scroll bar to access more spaces. Of course, it also makes the stack sizes bigger, which is up to 2 billion. Apparently, this mod is configurable, but I haven't figured out that myself, so go ahead and play around with it if you wish. If you're playing the older version of 1.12, you can have Expandable Inventory, which adds items to upgrade your inventory with. Scout takes a different approach at this, in which it actually takes advantage of the Trinkets mod.
I don't even know where to start with you. I mean, do you even know who you're talking to?
The mod that inspired Scout is actually Satchels, however this is played on an ancient version of Minecraft. Bigger stacks, of course, lets you have bigger stacks. Remember, this mod is configurable. Stacker is an alternative version. This one is for Fabric. I do have to warn you that the version I'm using does not have mod menu available, so you have to configure it using the File Explorer. Stack size doesn't actually increase stack sizes, but it actually increases the stack sizes of the smaller stacks up to 64. This one is pre-configured, so you don't have to mess around with files or mod menus.
This is only for the older versions of Minecraft.
Inventory Actions allows you to perform different actions within your inventory, such as stripping wood or filling empty bottles using your water bucket. Armor slots in other inventories allows you to manage your armors in other inventories, so you can finally save time when you have to equip that newly enchanted armor. I don't even know why this isn't in vanilla yet. If you're playing on older versions, you can also use visible armor slots. For Fabric, there's conveniently placed armor slots. This is also compatible with the Trinkets mod. The next group of mods is all about shulker boxes or related. The first mod is the simplest one of all, that's Shulker Box Tooltip. This lets you see the contents of a shulker box from within your inventory. Simple Shulker, Simple Shulker, Simple Shulker Preview, Simple Shulker Preview lets the first item within a shulker box display as its icon. It also should display durability depending on how full the shulker box is, but I couldn't figure it out because you have to mess with config file. Shulker Plus lets you do stuff like labeling a shulker box using an item at the front, render the shulker box icon as 2D so it's easier to see, and dye a shulker box while it's placed. Quick Shulker is very simple. It lets you open your shulker box without ever placing it down. Easy Shulker Boxes is an alternative way of grabbing items to and from shulker boxes. It basically gives them bundle-like functionalities. What's cool about this is that you can scroll through the contents of a shulker box to grab specific items that you need, which is not limited to the last item of a shulker box. Speaking of bundle-like functionalities, Better Bundles adds bigger bundle types, and it also lets you dye them. However, what I think the better mod is more bundles. In addition to bigger bundles, it also adds functional enchantments relating to bundles. The two enchantments are Absorb and Extract. Absorb automatically transfers newly picked up items into the bundle if it exists in there. Refill automatically refills items for you if it becomes empty, as long as the items are inside the bundle with their respective enchantment. There's another mod later that accomplishes the same thing, but for shulker boxes. Here's a neat backpack mod, which is the Shulker Box Slot mod. It goes into your back trinket slot, and you just have to press the button to access the shulker box. I talked about Absorb and Extract enchantments earlier, and this one is for shulker boxes instead. The mod is Shulker Enchantments. Like I said before, Siphon automatically transfers newly picked up items into a shulker boxes with the enchantment if the item exists in there. Refill automatically refills your hand if you place blocks, if the block exists within the shulker box with the refill enchantment. Earlier I talked about double hotbar solving the problem of tools and such permanently taking hotbar slots. The problem with that is it doesn't actually free up inventory space. Well, a good solution to that, in my opinion, is adding a tool belt. The following two mods accomplish this. Tool belt adds the namesake item and you can add all your tools up to 9 items. You can access your stuff using a keybind and selecting from this quick access reel. Utility belt takes a different approach, but this one is for fabric. It adds a hotbar to the left side of your screen, and you can toggle to this hotbar so you can use your tools. Remember that this mod uses the trinkets mod. As much as I love this mod, it's only limited to 4 slots, so you have to think carefully on how you use it. Moving on, there's Inventorio. This mod aims to fix many different inventory issues. Here are some of the nice features. First is that you automatically have a tool belt on your player, just like before. These tools will auto switch when you try to mine a respective block, which in hindsight is a little bit overpowered in my opinion. The mod also expands your offhand with more slots so you can use various items. Just gotta remember what the keybind is. Leggings can have deep pockets enchanted, which simply expands your inventory. This also upgrades your offhand slots. And their chest capacity is doubled. Pressing space while flying will use a firework rocket for you, so you can save that precious hotbar slot. Tweakeroo is a client-side mod that adds many different tweaks to your client, but for this video we'll only focus on the tweaks that focus on inventory. The first tweak is hand restock, which just like before, will refill your hand with new blocks if that becomes empty. This mod also supports Hotbar Swap if you use a keybind. Repair mode will automatically swap to the next broken tool that has mending when the previous one is fully fixed. I think you can imagine what Shulker Box Display does. Tweakeroo also has swap almost broken tools. Tool switch will automatically swap to the respective tool for the block you're trying to break. Finally, weapon switch will automatically swap to a weapon when you're trying to attack. ItemSwapper is a cool mod that lets you swap the item in your hand with related items and blocks. By pressing a keybind, you can open this interface to select the desired item. The default key is R. Just hold it, hovering item, and then releasing it will select the item. In survival, you of course can only select items you're carrying. This also works for stuff inside Shulker boxes. Yes, this includes tools and weapons. And even foods and potions. The final group of mods for the functional part of this video is all about storage systems. The first one is the most popular chest mod of all, iron chests. There's not much to say here, it's just bigger chests, but I kind of felt obligated to include this in the list because of its popularity, so here you go. Alright, here's an actual storage system mod, Tom Simple Storage mod. It adds a bunch of ways to systemize or centralize your storage using connectors and terminals. Here's a basic example that I made where I connected 2 double chests into one terminal. Here I can access all those items in this terminal. I've also added a crafting terminal where I can directly craft from the storage system itself. There's also other things you can do such as filters, hoppers, and even wireless storages, so play around with this yourself. If you want something more advanced, there's refined storage. This one has a more techie approach where it can handle masses of items. In one block alone, you can handle thousands of items. In my example here, we have storage disks that can handle 16,000 items each. Just like before, you can access all your items into one grid. There's also crafting grids here. There's more complex things that this mod has to offer, so I'll just let you play around with it. The last storage mod is called Simple Storage Network. This one is very similar to Tom's Simple Storage mod. The final part of this video talks about less functional mods and more of just visual or aesthetic mods. All of these mods are client-sided, so you can pretty much install them on any server. Do you have OCD and the inventory just bothers you? Well, you probably don't, but if we install Thanks I Fixed Your Inventory, we can fix all the position alignments of the inventory. It's a very minor change, but it actually makes the grid system of the inventory make sense. Inventory HUD Plus lets you see your entire inventory without ever opening the inventory screen itself. This includes the armor and also the potion effects. You can reposition these elements anywhere you want, so you can even do something as crazy as this. Speaking of the HUD, Better Mount HUD lets you keep certain HUD elements when riding a mount. For instance, you can keep your hunger bar and your XP bar. As you see, the horse's hull sits above your hunger bar, and the jump meter only appears when you're trying to jump, so you can see your XP bar at all times. I know this isn't an inventory mod, but it's related to the HUD anyway. The next two mods pretty much accomplish the same thing, but they actually synchronize well together, so you can install them both. We have inventory spam and item highlighter. What these mods accomplish is just show recently picked up items. Inventory spam shows added and removed items to and from your inventory. This shows up on the bottom right of your HUD. Meanwhile, item highlighter shows it in your inventory screen itself. Item borders gives colored borders to certain rare items. Do you have a lot of maps but don't know which is which? Well, Map Tooltip lets you see the map contents if you hover over it. Smooth swapping simply animates transferring items between inventories. I believe this is available in Bedrock, so this is the version for Java. You can configure how fast the animation speed goes, but with the absence of a mod menu, you have to go through your config files to change it. Dark mode everywhere is, as you can imagine, gives you dark mode. But what's cool about this compared to a resource pack is you can actually change the dark mode levels anytime you want, and it also works on any UI. So if you have a mod that has a different UI, you can use this mod. ExtraSounds adds sounds when you're picking up or moving items to and from your inventories. And finally, we have the last mod of this mod list, which is called Blur, which blurs your background whenever you're looking at inventories. Well, there you have it, all 65 inventory mods that I have found, and I hope you found something that interested you in the version that you're playing. Remember that all links are in the description, accessible in CurseForge. But that's all from me today. Good luck and goodbye.